First of all, no one is bad at puzzles.
If you've ever lost track of time doing a jigsaw puzzle, or maybe you love the ritual of sorting pieces, then this podcast is for you. Hey, I'm Lucy, and welcome to Dissectologist. Today I'm talking with Kelly, the artist behind Mintyfizz Puzzles. Her puzzles are bright, thoughtful, and full of personality, and she has built a wonderful community around sharing the joy of puzzling. So I'm really excited for this conversation.
Me too.
So thanks for joining me, Kelly.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's start at the beginning. How did puzzles kind of first show up in your life?
I can't remember a day when I didn't puzzle. It's just always just kind of been there in the background. But I can tell you the first time that I was around 10 years old and I was bored and I decided to go snooping in my parents' closet, as kids sometimes do. And I found this really old 1,000-piece puzzle. And I remember holding it and going, they make puzzles this big? And I thought, I wonder if I can do this puzzle myself. So I brought it downstairs. I put it on the dining room table and I sat there for hours. I even had my Walkman at the time. I was playing all of my tapes. I thought it was one of the best things. I was like, why haven't I never done this before? And as soon as I finished, I wanted to do it again.
Do you happen to remember the artwork that was on that very first puzzle?
I do. I actually have a copy. Someone found me another copy of that puzzle. It's a picture of a really fancy looking house. I'm not exactly sure where it's from, but it's from the Big Bend puzzle company that is, I don't think they're around anymore.
So when did you realize puzzles were more than just a hobby for you?
Back when I was in middle school, although I liked, doing sports and other hobbies as well and hanging out with my friends, my favorite place was just going home and doing a puzzle. And at the time, I felt like almost embarrassed by that fact. It wasn't considered like a cool activity.
No.
No one was really doing that as a kid, as far as I knew. But finally, when I, grew up a bit, I started letting people know that I was really into it. My friends were cool with it. And why I felt so embarrassed, I'll never know. So that's when I kind of felt like it was more than just a hobby, because I finally allowed it to manifest and show people that this is something that I love to do and that it's a way to relax me and calm me, and it's teaching me about art.
Yeah, it certainly has more. It feels like there's a lot more community around it. And I think social media has helped with that too. So Kelly, you are a teacher. How does that background shape the way that you think about puzzles?
Well, as a teacher, I've learned quite a bit about the way we can think about something can be more than just about a hobby. Like, I like to share information about the puzzles, about the artists, about when it was made. Sometimes the art can reflect the time and the history of it. I love to teach people and explain things and go into depth.
Do you bring puzzles into the classroom when you teach and use them in teaching moments?
Yes, I have definitely brought puzzles in the classroom. I had a table in the back of my room, kind of in a corner, and oftentimes I would lay out a smaller piece count because it can be overwhelming when they're larger. There was this puzzle made by a company called Odd Goods, and they did like some endangered species. And it would be interesting to see which students would sit down for longer periods of time, or students would go down and kind of pick at it. Some students that were having a really hard day, they would just go back there and they would listen and put some pieces in. It was a really positive thing in my classroom. And I noticed after that, some other teachers started doing that in their classrooms as well. And I also started seeing it in the teacher's lounge. Like, a parent liked
Nice.
it and they put a puzzle in the teacher's lounge, and then teachers would go during their break and put in a few pieces.
It seems like such a simple thing, but what a positive influence it brought to all of these environments that you're in. That's pretty cool. Was there a moment where art and puzzles kind of clicked together for you?
Yeah. I mean, art and puzzles obviously go hand in hand. I often pick puzzles, yes, because they might be pretty, but a lot of times it's because I liked the artist. I like what they stand for. I like the message that they're trying to get across. I don't like it when people use AI images on puzzles, so I try really hard to find artists that want to showcase their work and support it that way. When I was doing my own art, and puzzles. I was like, why not bring those two things together? Because they do go together.
What makes an image work as a puzzle?
I guess it all depends on the puzzler. Most puzzlers want a variety of color, nice color blocked images that would make a puzzle easier. A lot of people like to speed puzzle their puzzle. So if there's those kinds of distinct sections as well, they'll probably be more drawn to that. For me, I like really challenging things too. So I'm just about to start a solid colored red puzzle.
Clearly, you have practice if you're going for a solid puzzle like that.
I have practice.
Yeah, I do see your artwork as being probably challenging for a puzzle, but the colors on your puzzles are incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, I would not say my puzzles are for beginners. I guess maybe because I like a challenge and I like when I spend money on a puzzle, I want that puzzle to last me a while. So when I made my own puzzles, I was like, this would take me a little bit of time.
I love the way that you think about that, the puzzle lasting longer. That does kind of help me reframe approaching a puzzle like that that's more difficult without maybe feeling so frustrated about it.
I personally like a longevity of puzzles. I kind of call them projects. And I will say that sometimes I do get anxious with a challenging puzzle on my table. And I think, oh my gosh, will I ever be able to solve this? But I always do in the end. And it feels really, really good to complete something that's been sitting there for maybe several days, or if it's a large puzzle, several weeks, and then putting that final piece. I actually did do it. Like I thought maybe I wouldn't, but then I did do it.
Total side question, but like, what is the largest puzzle that you've assembled to date?
24,000. I would go larger, but the space in my house is not conducive to that. So 18,000 is, kind of actually my favorite of the mega large sizes.
Do you design puzzles differently than you design a standalone art piece that might just, like hang on a wall?
Most definitely. The art that you see on my puzzles is not at all the kind of art I actually do. I've never done abstract before I did puzzles. I do a lot of ink drawings with like dragons or mythical creatures. I do a lot of cartooning. I paint realistic flowers with oil paints and things like that.
Cool.
So it was kind of an experiment, but I loved the process of doing puzzles simply for color and color's sake and color therapy.
Why do you think that tactile analog hobbies like jigsaw puzzling are resonating with people right now?
We are in such a technology-based world, but we also crave doing something with our hands. And puzzles are something that anybody can actually do. We don't have to be an expert at puzzling. Just one of those things that you can just take out of the box and get started with. It's gratifying. You're putting in pieces and a picture's coming together. And at the end, you just feel like you've accomplished something because you have accomplished something. You're taking chaos and putting it into order.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Mintyfizz, which is a fantastic name. Before I get into that, where does Mintyfizz come from? Was that just like a brainchild or like it's a cute name?
Yeah, no, I had this friend growing up and we hung out all the time. And she and I wanted to make root beer floats one day. And we didn't have root beer nor vanilla ice cream, but we did have either Sprite or 7 Up and mint ice cream. And we did that and it created Mintyfizz. And she called it that once.
Is a Mintyfizz a dessert you recommend for people, or did it not turn out?
Not really. It wasn't very good.
So what kind of community has grown around Mintyfizz?
I find the people that follow me and are friends with me to be just the most kind-hearted, supportive people. Last year, my daughter got quite sick, and I mentioned it on Instagram, and I had this whole community come to support me while I was with my daughter in the hospital, and I was just kind of blown away. So I think the kind of community that follows me is just wonderful, kind, loving human beings.
What surprises you most about the people who are connecting with your work?
I've gotten a few messages from people who say that they've had a lot of anxiety or PTSD or going through some really tough times, and they've done my puzzle and felt a whole lot better. And I made my puzzles exactly during that time of my life when I was feeling really anxious. I was having a lot of PTSD. I was really upset. And that's why I kind of created Mintyfizz Puzzles, to have strangers come to me and say, your puzzles have really helped me through my anxiety and my depression. That touched me more than anything else.
What would you say to somebody who thinks they are bad at puzzles?
First of all, no one is bad at puzzles. We might not find the right image for us or the right puzzle, but no one is bad at puzzles because it doesn't matter how long it takes you to do a puzzle. The end result is going to be the same. I tell people to try a different image. This story comes to mind where this person found me on Instagram and she was a brand new puzzler and she was so frustrated. I said, well, what puzzle are you working on? And she showed me the puzzle and it was this really complex, hard puzzle. I was like, put that aside. Put that one aside because you're going to hate puzzling if this is what you're working with, right? There's also no such thing as cheating in puzzles. So if you look at the image, that's fine. If you get a puzzle with the letters on the back and you want to use that as a guide, that's fine. Whatever works for you to help you with the process is totally fine, totally valid. No one's bad at puzzles because even though I feel like I'm an expert at it, my end result is going to look exactly like your end result.
At the end of the day, we're all professionals here, right?
At the end of the day, it all looks the same.
So, Kelly, what do you hope someone feels when they finish one of your puzzles and they place that last piece?
I hope they feel satisfied that they completed what I would feel like is a challenging puzzle. Just that final click. I hope they feel some form of accomplishment, even if that's all they did during their day is a puzzle. They accomplished something. Just take a step back and go, wow, I did it.
All right. So I end every interview with the same 3 puzzle questions. There are no right answers here, Kelly, but I think people feel strongly about their answers to these.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right. So question number 1 is, what is your favorite puzzle size by piece count?
Okay. Well, actually, 3,000 is probably my favorite. As someone who likes large puzzles, 3,000 is kind of in between, I would say like a normal average size piece count and a large one. I can get a 3,000 piece puzzle done within the week.
Totally unexpected. And now I'm feeling inspired to try a 3,000 because I think the most I've done is 2,000.
Time to bump it up.
Okay, question number 2. You are finishing a puzzle and you realize one piece is missing. What do you do?
Oh gosh. Well, I definitely feel a little bit of a sting. I think every puzzler feels a little bit of a sting, especially if it's a large puzzle or a challenging puzzle. However, I thrift a lot of puzzles. So I kind of go into that kind of expecting it might be a possibility. I will say, though, that when I am missing a piece, a lot of times the puzzlers, they have that same puzzle that's also missing a piece, and they'll send me, or I'll send them their missing piece. So at least one of us has a complete puzzle. So in that sense, I like it. It's kind of a community. I've had someone make me puzzle pieces to fit my...
What?
Yeah, it was so cool.
That's like a really positive spin on that. Do your cats eat puzzle pieces? Do they like to chew on puzzle pieces?
My cats will sit on a puzzle, and I have a cat sitting on my lap. This particular cat has definitely spit up on a puzzle.
Oh,
That's
no.
a whole other story with the artist sending me a new puzzle.
All right. 3rd and final question. Again, no wrong answers. Kelly, you open a new puzzle and some pieces are stuck together. Do you leave them assembled or do you pull them apart and mix them in?
Ooh, yeah. I'll be honest, I often keep them together. If it's a large puzzle or a hard puzzle, I am guilty that I often keep them together. Sometimes I separate them if there's a lot, but if there's a couple in there that aren't, again, that goes back to my idea that there's no such thing as cheating in puzzles. If there's a couple pieces together, I'm going to keep it that way. And if I was speed puzzling, if I was in a speed puzzling race, you better believe I'm keeping those pieces together.
Yeah. Are there rules against it in the speed puzzling competitions at all?
No.
I mean,
If you have puzzle pieces together, well, lucky you.
bonus.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today, Kelly. I have really enjoyed talking puzzles with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this.
It's been a blast. And to everyone listening, however you puzzle, however you solve, you're doing it the right way.